From downtown Macon, this is WGXA News live on YouTube.
Good evening, Middle Georgia. I'm Amanda Peralta. My co-anchor, Greg Lloyd, has the night off. Thank you for watching WGXA News at 5:30. 1 year ago this week, WGXA began its coverage of a deadly convenience store on Houston Avenue. In the summer of 2022, the store would claim 3 lives. All of those killed were teenagers. Today, that store is no more, and a Macon mother says it's about time. In this week's Project Macon, our Brittany Miller sat down with that mom who's still grieving the loss of her son at that store, and she hopes its demolition signals a new day on Houston Avenue. As she shares her story, we want to hear from you. Use the QR code on your screen to vote in our poll this evening on whether you think closing that business will make a difference in the community.
Demetrius Kendrick believes moms have a special bond with their first child. She had one with hers.
He was my everything.
That bond was forever ruptured when her son, Lateri Kendrick, was shot and killed in 2020 while walking out of a convenience store in Macon.
They should have been dealt with that store.
The store was Friends Food Mart on Houston Avenue.
That store once stood here. Now, it's an empty plot of land. But before owners decided to tear it down, at least 4 people lost their lives inside or in the parking lot of Friends Food Mart. That, along with hundreds of 911 calls for other crimes, led to Macon leaders naming this location as one of the hottest crime spots in Bibb County.
WGXA first started following the store a year ago after the death of 16-year-old Kymelo Early. We discovered that police lights were regularly on display at the store, with emergency calls for narcotics, stabbings, and shootings being made on back-to-back days or even multiple times a day. We then took concerns to District 2 Commissioner Paul Bronson, who said he thought the store should be addressed.
I think it's going to take some conversation, some dialogue to take place with the owner of that store to find out why things are happening at that location. I mean, of course, we got an idea, right? But let's make sure that we bring everyone that needs to be at the table to the table so we can have clear and concise dialogue. I think that's the most important thing in this situation now, that we don't make a decision based off emotion.
But Mom Demetrius Kendrick says talking was never the answer, especially since she believes store owners knew what was happening on their property.
You let them hang out there when you could have called the police and got them from hanging around your store. You allowed that. If you didn't allow them kids to hang out at that store, none of this stuff probably wouldn't happen.
1 month later, 2 other teens were killed at Friends Food Mart, 19-year-old Braxton Cole and Roderick Felton. Kendrick told Project Macon she was related to 2 of the 3 teens whose lives ended at the store that year.
Your son and Roger.
Yes, and Camilo. All of them. Right there at the same store.
How does that affect your family?
Like, it's crazy.
The deaths prompted the county to take action. A judge signed off on temporarily shutting down the store. Friends Food Mart was soon given permission to reopen with the conditions of adding signs that read, "The area is under surveillance by police," along with new hours, closing by 11 p.m. every night. We caught up with an owner of the store back when those regulations first came down. He said it would hurt their business, but agreed it may be necessary.
The situation which is going on around here, I think we have to compromise and see everything gets back in place, and we'll go with it.
It's unclear what that compromise would have looked like because the doors of Friends Food Mart never reopened and ultimately came crashing down at the owner's request. Neighbors say it wasn't long before the store just next door closed too, but the owner there says they're closed for renovations. Demetrius Kendrick thinks the store's absence will be good for Houston Avenue and for Macon as a whole, even though its demolition can't undo what happened to her son.
It's a feeling you ain't gonna never forget.
Project Macon is working to find out if there's been any change yet here on Houston Avenue. I put in an open records request to compare the number of 911 calls made to this stretch from last year to this year. Some fear those looking to cause trouble didn't just disappear, instead finding a new home just a few blocks away. I also called Commissioner Paul Bronson, who's over this area 7 times, to talk about what's happening here. He didn't get back to me.
Kendrick says she too is still waiting by the phone, but the call she wants is from the Bibb County Sheriff's Office with answers about who shot and killed her son.
I don't know nothing. I done left several messages on the phones. Nobody won't call me back to say, hey, we still looking into it or nothing. I don't know nothing.
Reporting for Project Macon, Brittany Miller, WGXA News.
2 months after the death of her 16-year-old son, Derek Putman, mom Katasha Mallory is still searching for answers on slow response times and what she calls a violation of her rights as a parent. Today, our Raina Plunkett digs into the incident report to uncover the timeline of the teen's death and legal protections for officials to disclose sensitive information.
It was a Monday morning newscast that mom Katasha Mallory says still haunts her.
The Bibb County Sheriff's Office is starting the week investigating a deadly shooting.
2 months ago, Bibb County deputies found her 16-year-old son, Derek Putnam, shot to death on the sidewalk on William Street. At the time, authorities struggled to identify him, so they shared photos of a pendant necklace that they claim resembled the victim. It was only after seeing the necklace that Mallory says a grave reality began to sink in.
God, this cannot be my child. This cannot be my child. Lord, don't let this be my child.
After identifying the body, Mallory says she specifically asked the coroner to keep her son's identity unknown.
I was sorry. I was because I stated to him clearly in his face, do not release my baby name. And you told me, okay. But you still released it along with the age. And that hurts me more because he's a minor.
It's a misstep that Mallory says was one of many that disturbed her. So, I pulled the incident report to get answers. In it, I discovered there were 6 deputies working in the county, and it took them 53 minutes to respond to 10 shot spotter pings in the area. Turning my attention to the coroner, I tried to find out if there was a breakdown in communication. This was his response: I'm not going to acknowledge anything. If she wants an apology, she's not going to get one. She's in our thoughts and prayers regardless of the situation though. I'm sorry. She truly lost a child, just like every other victim of a homicide. After getting that response, I reached out to lawyer Franklin Gaddy to find out if coroners can legally disclose an underage homicide victim's name without permission from the parents. According to Gaddy, turns out there's some gray area. While I cannot give an absolute answer or legal direction in this matter, in general, most state agencies would honor that request, rightfully so. However, in this specific case, I cannot say definitively that the coroner would have been required to honor that request. Even so, because of the liability afforded to coroners, there may not be any actual redress or legal remedy for those parents. For mom Katasha, it's a situation with little clarity that still brings her to tears.
It kills me because I break down all the time. This is a pain that I would never, ever want anybody to feel. It's a pain that's not going to go away. And I have to cope with this every day. Every day.
Reporting in Macon, Raina Plunkett, WGXA News.
Well, the weekend is finally here, which means time to make some plans. And meteorologist Ryan Mirando says we're watching a line of storms tomorrow, then brutal heat to follow. Ryan, tell us the news we don't want to hear.
I know.
And tell us to wear sunscreen. You always tell me.
Sunscreen, very important for this weekend, especially if you're going out on the lake or any kind of outdoor plans. The UV index is very high, especially at this time of year. Live lookout over Macon with our Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network. Mostly dry, just a few fair weather cumulus clouds that are out there right now. We did have some showers and storms that were moving through our southeastern counties. These have really rained themselves out at this point. Just a tiny sprinkle of a cell moving right now through Glenwood, but we still do have some small areas of wider view on satellite and radar showing that we do have some storms that are still firing up over the plain states, and we'll get a piece of that energy tomorrow afternoon that does bring that line of storms through. And then what's to follow are the high temperatures. Currently 92 in Macon. Notice that over in Texas, they have triple-digit air temperatures right now, and we could potentially see that looking ahead. So tomorrow, it starts dry. We're watching for those line of storms that moves from northwest to southeast. I'll help time this out with you when we could even see that possible triple-digit air temperature, all coming up in your full forecast. Amanda.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Now is a great time to download the WGXA weather app. Ryan is back in less than 20 minutes with your 10-day forecast. Monroe County commissioners are still upset after a planning and zoning board member raised his concerns. Our Gloria Ruth Finney tells us more about what some consider a bonus and others say could be seen as a bribe.
You guys are the professionals on land use and zoning, so we certainly want to lean on you. You have and should have a great deal of input in any kind of legislation such as this.
You just heard a clip from a June 4th Monroe County Board of Commissions workshop with planning and zoning. The commission has brought in the P&Z board for their professional expertise in defining and drafting a unified development ordinance. The UDO will be presented to the commission for approval in the future. Here, zoning member David Hunter brings up how Monroe County needs better planning before more development.
It's coming. We just need to prepare. Our infrastructure we know needs to be upgraded.
2 days later, the commission proposed giving bonus pay to the Planning and Zoning Board for all their extra work. But that brought up questions. Is the cash a bribe or a bonus? I went to Monroe County to speak with the Public Information Officer, Richard Dumas. He said the P&Z board is paid $75 a month.
I think the majority of the zoning board members sure do not take this on to make for some lucrative position for them to be able to make money. It's more of a public service opportunity for them.
So why would the commission choose to write a check for $500 to each zoning member? Well, they say it's for the extra hours, but Hunter said it could be seen as a bribe, and he asked to return the check and was told no. Now, because voicing his concern, the commission is considering punishing him, and Commissioner John Ambrose is ticked.
For this individual to say that we tried to bribe them just pissed me off to no avail. And what the zoning board does and what they say with it has no meaning on what we put in that UDO.
But didn't another commissioner say earlier that P&Z does and should have input? I spoke to Ambrose over the phone earlier. He said the money couldn't be a bribe because the commission doesn't have to take into account P&Z's opinions on the UDO. After agreeing to a recorded phone interview, he didn't answer when I called.
Hey, you got the right number, but I'm tied up at the time. If you leave your name and number and a short message, I'll get back with you.
After emailing Hunter earlier this morning and trying to reach him by phone, I've still not heard his thoughts on any of this or what he thinks about potentially being punished for speaking up.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
Reporting in Monroe County, Gloria Ruth Finney, WGXA News.
And summertime sparking renewed interest for vacationers looking to secure their home away from home and hosts looking to make a few extra bucks. WGXA has been committed to following the updated ordinance for short-term rental properties in Putnam County, but with new changes that might affect how your vacation might look. Our Raina Plunkett went to the host to find out what they think about the new house rules.
In Greene County, you'll find property owners Janine and John Bess sprucing up the house.
We're in the business of giving people great memories.
But they know July is peak season for vacationers looking for a summer getaway. But come Tuesday morning, things could change for how their 6 short-term rentals operate in Putnam County. That's because for 7 work sessions, Putnam County commissioners and lawyers have been working to draft a new ordinance full of rules for hosts and renters and short-term rentals like Airbnb and Vrbo. In the updated ordinance, property owners will have to give a copy of the new ordinance to renters, display their licenses, as well as make changes to the number of days and people who could rent their property. An owner can only rent out their home for up to 14 days and must restrict occupation to only allow 2 people per 2-bedroom, plus 2 additional people per residence to accommodate those 25 years or older. On top of that, owners will also have to be at least 1 hour away from the property. They're rules that realtor and short-term property owner John and Janine say they're going to follow, but could infringe upon business.
Any small business owner, doesn't want government telling them, adding more and more restrictions onto their businesses. It's especially tough for the small business owner. And so, yeah, the list is long and fairly stringent.
If it becomes too restrictive, it's going to eliminate buyers who want to get into the short-term rental market, as well as guests to be able to come out and not have as much competition or options to choose from. Then that could eliminate business for restaurants and marinas and boutiques and all of those where the tourists are coming, and it's a whole economy in itself.
It's a consideration that commissioners will have to weigh again in a public hearing before final approval.
Now, rental hosts will have a chance until July 18th to address their concerns or thoughts on the new ordinance to county officials.
And the weekend is finally here, so as you're planning it out, Saturday is going to be the more active of the 2 days. We're watching for a line of thunderstorms to move through that could bring some gusty downpours and some strong winds with a high of 94 degrees. The morning looks dry. On Sunday, it's the better of the 2 days. We still have a few chances for some isolated thunderstorms, but less active than Saturday with a high of 95. So still the bigger story is really still going to be that it's hot and humid over the weekend. So let's go live on our Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network, looking out over Mercer University. We have a few of those fair weather cumulus clouds that are set in place, but it's still very hot, currently 92 degrees in Macon, and not a lot of relief in the fulminary showers and storms. We did have that one cell that have been tracking moving through our southeastern counties really rained itself out at this point. Maybe a few sprinkles left over Glenwood, but a wider view on satellite and radar showing there are a few impulses of energy out to our west. This first one likely won't make it. It'll fall apart for the rest of the Friday night, so we'll be dry, but this one could bring us a little bit of that piece of energy, and that's going to bring that line of thunderstorms throughout the afternoon tomorrow. So lunchtime and the morning time through Saturday, we're dry. A few of those clouds out there. By about 3 o'clock, the storm starts to move over towards our northwest counties. By around 5, 6 o'clock, it's moving over the heart of our viewing area down the I-75 corridor, Macon, Warner Robins, Montezuma, and then it's pushing out through the south and east by around 9 o'clock. So it's not going to be an all-day rain, but if you do see some storms over you, that could bring some heavy downpours or some gusty winds, and then we get a few more pop-up storms again for the second half of the weekend on Sunday. And then the temperatures really begin to ramp up Monday and Tuesday. Air temperatures in the upper 90s, and Wednesday, I think we have a good shot of actually hitting an air temperature of 100 degrees, so it's going to be very hot next week. The good news is that heat index values, those feels like temperatures, aren't going to be surging very high above this, but it is going to be rather hot. And in fact, Climate Central has been tracking how many high heat index days we've had above 90 degrees since 1979. There's a lot of variability, some hot years, some cool years, but the general trend has been upwards. We've got about 8 more days throughout the year where we have heat index values above 90 degrees. So definitely warming up, especially for next week. So in your 10-day forecast, stay weather aware throughout the afternoon tomorrow. We have a few gusty thunderstorms with that line that's moving from northwest to southeast with a high of 94 degrees. On Sunday, a few more isolated thunderstorms popping up by the afternoon, 95. For heading back to work on Monday, we're drying out. Rain chances aren't 0, but we're really heating up. 97 on Monday. Tuesday, blazing sun with a high of 99 degrees. Wednesday, I think we have a good shot of hitting 100. It'll be very hot. Heat index values could be surging above the heat index criteria. We'll keep an eye on that. Then Thursday and Friday, still hot with a high of 99 degrees. Lastly, here's your Harrison's Body Shop fishing game forecast. Peaks at 1 a.m. and 7:40 p.m.
We have a Middle Georgia proud moment tonight. A mother and daughter duo is beading together bracelets for a special family cause. Our Brianna Cook chatted with them today and has the emotional reason behind their crafty business. She joins us live now. Brianna?
Tonight we're introducing to you a 4-year-old entrepreneur making and selling butterfly bracelets to show support to her great-grandmother who's facing a battle with cancer.
It's the world to us that we can showcase a little bit of Nana to the world.
A Middle Georgia 4-year-old has teamed up with her mom making bracelets to honor their Nana who is battling stage 4 cancer. Kylie Law and her daughter KJ wanted to express how much their Nana means to them.
We just want to show her that we would go the extra mile for her as well and just get those prayers and get support for her during this hard time because it's getting a little rough. So we just want to uplift her spirits.
Law says butterflies represent happiness and all things positive to their Nana.
So when we were kids, she always told us if we were scared to always think about butterflies, rainbows, or lollipops. So butterflies have always been very special.
They say their Nana's cancer has spread everywhere and they just want to show support. Their company, Sunshine Beating, has already sold over 50 butterfly bracelets after only starting last month. KJ has the full hands-on experience when making the bracelets.
You like to work with the beads?
Yeah, because the beads are so colorful.
Colorful, that's good.
Does it make you happy to make butterfly bracelets for your Nana?
Mm-hmm.
Law says the butterfly bracelets not only honor their Nana, but teaches KJ how to be creative and an entrepreneur.
With her business, she tells me, Mommy, look, I'm just like you, I'm making something. And it warms my heart because all I want is her to see me in a positive light. I just want her to know that no matter what she does, like any goal that she has, I'm going to be right there rooting for her, supporting her any way that I can.
If you would like to support, you can go to their Facebook at Sunshine Beating or find the link on our website at WGXA.tv. Reporting live in studio, Brianna Cook, WGXA News.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gary Thigpen, and I'm here again today at the Bibb County Animal Services in Macon-Bibb. I'm joined again today with Tracy, and guess who we have today?
We have Georgie.
Now, Georgie is Jack's brother. If you were watching yesterday, we had Jack on the show, full of energy. So is he. Tell us a little bit about Georgie.
Georgie's about 9 months old, so he still has a lot of puppy in him.
Yeah.
And he's full of energy.
Very
I
much.
do not like cats that much, though. Cats are not my
Well,
friend.
what dogs do. I mean, most of them don't anyway.
But Georgie's already neutered, and he's heartworm negative, so he's ready to go.
Good deal. So, Tracy, if someone would like to adopt Georgie or his brother Jack, or take both of them, how would they go about doing that?
So you would just reach out to us at 478-621-6774 and ask to speak to Elvin. He's our adoption coordinator, and he'll get you in for a meet and greet, and we'll make sure that Georgie's a good fit for your family.
Now, there's a big event going on this weekend at Tractor Supply Company. I'm going to let Tracy tell you about that, and Georgie and his brother Jack may be there.
So we will be at Tractor Supply on Eisenhower, and we'll be there from 11 to 3, and we'll have Georgie and Jack and a bunch of other wonderful babies. So come out and see us.
Let's do that. Let's find them all a good home and put them in a place where they will love to enjoy their company with your kids and your family. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Tracy.
Thank you.
Well, this might put a smile on your face. Here are this year's finalists for the comedy pet photos. We've got a cat performing his best victory pose, a dog leaping through the air, another dog jumping headfirst into the sand, and a cat sticking their tongue out. The 24 finalists will be judged by a panel of expert animal lovers. The winner will be announced on August 11th.
Okay, that sand one with the dog.
Wait, that one right there is so cute.
Yeah, no, that dog one though in the sand, that's me. But it's actually so funny. I think that's what makes it like hilarious. It's just like, if I could like put my, wait, can they see this? I could like put my head through this. You think I can maybe recreate it? Like,
yeah, let's see it.
Okay.
Go. Do we have enough time?
Oh my God. It's like, ugh. Oh my God, I'm scared.
Oh my God. Woo! Okay, well, while he gets his head out of there, that's it for WGXA News at 5:30. We invite you to join us at 6 on ABC 16.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later. What?